Mom's a mess. Mom doesn't have a hat on though. Isn't she just the cutest little thing you've ever seen in your life? That's my little shit. Yes, she's my little shit because she's a terror. Look at that cute little putty tat. I thought I saw a putty tat. I did. I have the cutest little picture of Sava. It's somewhere on the internet. When I was living in South Carolina in 2015 with one of my best friends, Pete, he's deceased now. I grew up with the family. Hey, UK World! I was thinking about you yesterday. I was running around last night and you popped in my head and I started praying for you. UK Awake World, I don't want to be rude to you, but I have confusion on my part. Are you my friend Mark or are you another friend? Sorry to ask, I get confused and it's my fault. Please forgive me. But even if you're not Mark, that's okay. You did pop in my head and I started praying for you. And the first question that popped in my head, because I was thinking about my friend Mark, but I haven't seen him in a very long time. Claire, female. Okay, so you're my new friend. Okay, Claire, I will remember this, sweetheart. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to be rude to you. But you popped in my head and I was trying to figure out if you were my friend Mark or not. I haven't heard from him in a while. He's in the UK and oh my gosh, I gotta be honest with you. This kid is so highly targeted, it's not even funny. He's not a Yeshua lover like I am, so I can't really protect him as much as I want to because he's not under the covering of the blood of the Lamb. But anyway, when I started praying for you yesterday, the first question out of my head was, is there any darkness surrounding UK Awake World? And then I said, Heavenly Abba, please put UK Awake World in a bubble. Protect them. Don't let that darkness attack them and eat at them. In Yeshua's name, Selah. So that was what I was praying against, was your darkness. But I've learned UK Awake World, because I think I have spiritual gifts. I think. Okay, duh, I do. But I have doubt, and I shouldn't have that, and I should listen to that small, still voice. So when you popped in my head, I listened to that still, small voice, and I prayed for you. And that is something that Heavenly Abba has been teaching me to do. Pay attention to it, Holly. Even if you think it's minor, you pay attention to it and you pray. So I was praying for you, and Heavenly Abba was like, good, Holly, you're listening to that still small voice, and I prayed against your darkness. So I think it was the Holy Spirit keeping us connected. But I give you my prayers, UK Awake World. I hope you're not being gang stalked. I hope you're not being targeted. I hope they're not harassing you. And as far as the demonic attacks, I join you in prayer, and I bind and cast down principalities, demons, and powers in Yeshua's name. Claire, I get people mixed up and names mixed up, and I get very embarrassed and humiliated. Sometimes I even mix up people's testimonies. Some people say I can talk about their testimony. Other people say, no, keep it confidential. So you know what? I just keep everything confidential. I never write anything down. So unless somebody got my cell phone or got me, if you came into my apartment, you will never find anybody's name, phone number, address, testimony, nothing. I try to keep everything stored up here. I don't know why. It's kind of bad because if I store it up here, obviously I get confused, right? I bind and cast down the lying, stealing, deceiving spirits in Yeshua's name. I bind and cast down lustful, familiar, and seducing spirits in Yeshua's name. I bind and cast down the fake Jesus. I bind and cast down the fake divine light in Yeshua's name. I test me. I test the world. I test spirits in Yeshua's name. I do not test my heavenly Abba in Yeshua's name. I surrender fully to him. I pray to hear my shepherd's voice and not Malak's voice in Yeshua's name. I pray for our full armor in Yeshua's name. I pray for MMM. Oh, talk about confusion. I feel like such a dinghy. Oh, MMM, I know exactly who you are. MMM, I'm sorry I didn't send you back an email. Sava thanks you. Sava thanks all of you that have been helping her go to the vet, get her medicine. She's going to get a second opinion. Now, I trust the doctor, but the doctor's word just is not enough for me. I need to see something on paper. I am not going to give this cat an x-ray. I don't want the x-ray itself to set off the cancer. I want blood work. Now that I'm calm, because on Monday when I had her at the vet, I was like, I mean, the fire sirens were going off. I don't know if you heard it in the background on the YouTube channel, because I had you guys, even though the video buffers, I had you guys with me sitting in the vet parking lot. So now that I'm calmer, I want blood work. I pray over her blood. I pray over her bones. I pray over her genetics, her chromosomes. I pray over her fur, her skin, her eyes, nose, mouth, teeth, jawbone. I pray over her paws. I pray over her kidneys, her liver, her lungs, her brain, her eyes, in Yeshua's name. Please, Abba, take your hand and just swoop it through Sava and get all that bad stuff out of her. Pull it out. Ekbalo. Get it out of her in Jesus' name. I pray that that is in your will. In Yeshua's name. So, MMM, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you, thank you. Kim and Sarah, oh God, there's so many thank yous I need to give you guys. You'll be getting an email from me. That's actually one of the things I have to do. They took away my food stamps. Remember when you guys were putting food on my table so I could eat this past summer? Well, the state held it against me and took away my whopping $19 a month for food stamps. During the pandemic, they increased me to $200 a month, from $19 to $200. Well, now they took all of that away from me because you guys sent me donations. They're taking it as income when it's not. You guys literally skipped over meals so you could take that meal and send it to me so I could eat. I didn't need to eat anyway. I don't need weight. I don't need tits and ass. I don't need womanly curves. What would I want to be healthy for? Why would I need vitamins and minerals? What are you doing? She hasn't been sleeping with me. She has been sleeping there or over in that corner. You wrote this comment on another video, MMM? Okay. I may not have seen it, MMM. So Sava hasn't been sleeping with me the past couple of nights, right? She starts sleeping with me, but then she gets off the bed. Yesterday I took a nap. She slept with me the whole time. But last night, she got off the bed and came in here and went again in the corner of Holly Television Studios, right here in my beautiful garden home state of Nazi, New Jersey. Remember one of your last vids, Save went and laid down, I believe near your desk. You mentioned she loved that spot. Yes. Yeah. She's always stealing my chair, kicking me out. You know what this cat does? I kid you not. It's like, I almost sat on this cat 2 times yesterday. Prime example. I'll like come over to my desk, right? And I'll be fidgeting around for a second, grabbing papers. And then I'll just go to plop down. I kid you not, the cat will jump in my chair right as I'm sitting down. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to squash my kitty. My whopping 404 pounds is going to squash my kitty. I almost sat on her twice yesterday. She beats me to the chair and then she steals it. Same with the dining room table. When I go to eat, I'll bring my plate over, put it down, go back, get something. No sooner do I come back to my chair and she's in it. I think you should get a second opinion. MMM. Yes, I am. My one friend who paid for the first vet visit, that was $146. The first vet visit on Monday was $146. They checked her. They gave her a shot of antibiotics that lasts 10 days. And then they gave me gabapentin for $146. My friend said, Holly, I'm going to pay for it. You can take your time to pay me back. And I got that $146 for my friend. I had it on Monday too. But I'm going to keep it on me. Because I'm going to get a second opinion. And that blood work, you got to figure, is $200. Typically, an office visit should be $50. So I want to make sure I walk in there with $350, 400, at least 350. And if it's not enough, I'm going to have to tell them, well, then you're going to have to put the rest on a payment plan. But don't you think you're keeping my cat here until I have every red cent of that bill? There was a vet that tried to do that to me. I kid you not, guys, that would have been a very ugly event. I would have been like, 911, you better get your whole entire police department at this vet's office. They are not giving me my dog back. That is kidnapping. You got to go get my dog now. Otherwise, I'm going to go get it. And that is life. That is a life form. It's not an object. And vets treat pets like they're objects. My vet tried to lecture me. Holly, we need to have Sava and Keeper's rabies shots because our records indicate that she hasn't. Listen, they're my pets. I am the owner. You don't need anything. I hired you to provide a service. I am in charge of my pets. I take care of them. I have 2 kittens, and one of them is always finding electrical cords and power outlets. They are always warm, and I get nervous about the current mini electric shocks. Here in the UK, I'm on disability. I'm on disability, too. Oh my gosh, UK. That's similar to America. I think if I'm understanding it right. I'm on full disability, so I am allowed to accept cash gifts of any amount at any time under the full disability I have. I'm allowed to accept cash gifts. Well, under the new Biden administration, you can't do that. You have to pay taxes on gifts, on the air you breathe. But I'm exaggerating there. Now, if I was on supplemental disability, I would not be allowed, I would only be allowed to accept a certain amount of money as a cash gift. When it came to my autobiography, right, I had every intention of giving it away to you guys for free. Most of my friends are disabled and on disability. I can't imagine charging them money for a book. Get the hell out of here. And it was you guys to begin with that helped me deprogram and that helped me through all these years. So there's no way I'm selling a book. Well, anyway, there was this plastic Christian couple that was pressuring me, flat out pressuring me. You gotta sell your book, Holly. You gotta sell it. No, I don't want to. I'm just going to put it up online for free with the rest of my drawings. I'm going to copyright it. It's my work. It's my work. But I'm going to give everything for free. Oh no, Holly, why don't you go check out this website? You know, you could have like 100 of your books, or you could have 1,000 of your books printed out, and we'll pay for that. You'll have to pay us back, but we'll get 1,000 copies. And then, Holly, you could just sell, say, 50 books a month. And that way you could just fly under the radar with disability. No, that's lying. And you call yourself a Christian? No, that is lying. And why are you pressuring me about my autobiography? Why don't you go write your own book and then you can dictate what happens to that? These plastic Christians dictated to me everything. I went past one of my deadlines. Oh, well, that means you can't edit your own book. You have to go get somebody else. And that somebody else was just as plastic as they were. But they were paid to handle me, so no wonder why I went through that. But no, I do everything for free. I let God worry about the money, right? So, but yeah, the state is trying to give me a run for my money. Now, I worked on the books since I was 15 years old. The first job I had, I was 11 years old. So from 15 years old all the way up to my 30s, I always worked on the books. I paid my time and title. I paid my dues. Second to that, I served UK, US, and Canada's governments and military. Now those food stamps, I deserve at least that much for what I did for the militaries and governments of these countries. And this is what they do to me. Kill us. Kill me, kill you, kill everybody else. Put poison in our food, poison in our water, turn nuclear waste into prescription medicine, and people buy it and just eat it up and continue to kill themselves. What I was saying about Sava, last night, I got my sleeping bag and I slept out here. I slept out here on the floor with Sava because she's not sleeping with me. An infected burn. Me? Oh, MMM. Okay, that's what you're saying. Because of the outlets, and if she's sitting over there, could that be from the electrical outlets? Oh, I'm putting it together. I gotta get my cat anti-microwave clothing. Okay, my cat doesn't chew outlets. I have like these things, like this and this in the room. These things are supposed to get rid of the ELF, EMF, and microwaves from like the computers and stuff. What time is it? 5:55. Who keeps seeing those 5:55s? They keep popping up for me too. 5:55 a.m. I'm 5 feet 5.5 inches, so 5.5. I can't say that. So I'm back on the wagon, decreasing my cigarettes. Last night, from dinner time all through the night, I didn't smoke butts. So I'm fighting the battle. I'm not drinking. I'm still fighting that battle. I'm not running away from the situation or trying to hide my feelings. I've been letting myself cry, and this is the biggest thing, is I'm being vocal and I'm talking about it, because a sin A demon for me is I bottle things up and I keep it to myself and I don't tell anybody. I let the predators keep preying on me because I'm more scared of them than to stand up and defend myself. That's why people just get away with gang stalking me. Another way they get away with it, I'm going to have a butt and then I'm going to go because I'm going to give Sava her medicine. That's another thing when I first gave Sava the medicine, I think I got the little syringe too far in her mouth and she didn't like it. But then a couple of times when I gave it to her, everything went smoothly. I got the syringe to the corner of her mouth, squirt a little, and I'd see her lick it, squirt a little. So I'm hoping that in a little bit, I can administer her medicine to her and have it go smoothly. And no, I didn't go back to my coke addiction. But I do have a couple of gulps when I take my kratom, because that kratom is nasty tasting. I don't have medicinal marijuana, so I'm really struggling. I don't have any medicinal marijuana. I ran out, and I can't go get any more right now. And my friend doesn't make house calls. Where are my keys? So I'm doing it. I'm hanging in there with this situation. I gotta get her eating a little bit more. She's eating, just not enough. Are they here? You want to see where I keep my cigarettes? I told you. Abba dwells there. And since he dwells there, there's only room for him in there. This is where I keep my cigarettes, I kid you not. I'll show you. You probably can't see. Hang on a second. I'm going to fall. Okay, there's a light. You still can't see too well. I do not let cigarettes come in my house. This is an addiction. This is a demon. There is only room for Abba in my house. And there is absolute tons of space and room for me to improve. But he dwells here. He dwells in my car. He says, don't smoke in your car. I will drive you. I know that sounds weird to you guys, but Abba and I have a close relationship, and he walks me through everything. And he said, Holly, if you're smoking, there's no room for me. He wants me not to smoke my medicinal marijuana, which I'm fine with that. It's about the edibles and eating it. He wants me to give up smoking entirely, and I'm down with it. I'm struggling. But if I want Abba to dwell in my house, then I need to make sure I give him an atmosphere that's holy, heavenly, and clean. Now, I'm the one that brought the cigarettes into my life. I'm the one that's got to take it out. He's not going to take it from me because then that would defeat the purpose of having a free will. He's not the one that got me addicted to cigarettes. I am. So I need to face it and get myself off. It's like when people give you platitudes. Oh, God already won the war. Yeah, but he won it. You still got to live through it. And you can't sit on your rump thinking that he's just going to run around every time you pray and battle your stuff for you. And you just get to sit there and not lift a finger. That's not fair to him. And currents and likes the warmth. MMM, I'm going to keep that in mind. From now on, I'll just turn it off. I'll turn everything off and unplug everything. I was doing that. My neighbors are probably like, boy, she's crazy. Why is she always standing outside to smoke? She used to never do that. It's like, listen, when you have a relationship with your creator, you want to do what he wants you to do. You know? You want to make him happy. If you don't have a relationship with God, then I must look like a radical lunatic. That's not wearing a hat today. So I took a shower last night. I'm clean. This is just bed head. I look okay. I look okay. I look better now than I have the past few days. So anyway, so yeah, speaking of food stamps, they even shorted me for my light bill, the electrical assistance. I lucked out with this place because my heat is electric heat. I don't have an oil bill. Back in Long Valley, I had a 5-bedroom, 3 living room, 3 full bathroom, a kitchen, kitchenette, atrium, fire pit house with 2 different basements on a piece of property on 70 acres. And I rented it for a couple of years until, of course, the ex destroyed everything. Man, I wanted to stay in that house. If I could have found a proper roommate, I would have kept that house and still been in it. It was on a horse farm and beautiful place. But the oil bill, I was spending like over $400 a month just to heat it. Hey, it's Lynn. Good morning, Lynn. All my friends are being mods. Anybody that looks at my chat room is going to be like, I'm not stepping in there. Everybody's a mod. And sometimes, I'll be honest, guys, having all these wrenches is actually a turn off for other people because they're like, is this a private party? She doesn't know me. I'm going to be the only one that doesn't have a wrench. So if you see me moving wrenches around, I'm happy to give you a wrench. Ask me. If I know you, you'll get one. If I'm not sure who you are, you're not going to get one. But if you see me moving the wrenches around, please don't take it personally. Um, I move them around. But there's a lot of blues. There's a lot of Smurfs in my chat room this morning. But I like that because sometimes not all of you are here together. Sometimes it's only a couple of you. But the more wrenches I give out, then that means that when I come on, I will always have somebody in my chat room that can block the trolls, gang stalkers, and losers that are targeting me. I'm here for you too, Lynn. Lynn, I have so many friends with the name Lynn. It's not even funny. I told you this before, but Lynn, every single one of them, I love them. I don't know what it is about you, Lynn's, but you're always loving and a lot of fun, and I'm friends with all the Lynn's I know. um, I'm going to shampoo my carpet. That's going to be a pain in the neck in the winter, but I want to get the cigarette smell out because even just the smell on clothes can make Sava sick, and I don't want that to happen any more than it has happened. Thank you guys so much for holding me strong and holding me up. I come here to YouTube just like probably you guys call your spouse or your best friend to talk. But see, I come here and I have a whole bunch of best friends. Oh, I love you to bits and pieces too, and I'm really humbled. You're the only Holly. Good, good, Len. I don't need any competition. You're mine. You are not allowed to go get your love from anywhere else. You're only allowed to come here and get love from this Holly, okay? Now, I'm Holly, not Sharon. You're mine. I'm not sharing you, Lynn. You're mine. And my name is Holly. Sorry. I joke like that because of my altars. My altars joke around about me having altars too. And I think that sense of humor is definitely needed for DID, dissociative identity disorder. And that's what you guys have been looking at lately, just so you know. And DID, you can't bind and cast down Holly Baglio. You can't bind and cast down an altar because that is you. It's just a piece of you stuck at the moment of extreme trauma and torture. You know, what works for altars is you sit down, you have a conversation with another person, you tell them what you're remembering, you tell them how you feel for exactly what it is. No matter how fantastical you think you sound, who cares about that? But you go grab, you know, a freedom deliverance minister, or you go grab your friend. You go grab somebody you are comfortable with. You tell them, for instance, because I just went through this recently about home invasions on black operations. You sit there and you just tell the truth about what happened. And then you pray to Jesus and you ask him into all those broken pieces. And then he makes you whole again. And if it's not in his will and you don't reintegrate and become whole again, he still helps you function every day. He still loves us. He'll never abandon us. Anyway. Yeah, I know I'm a chain smoker. I don't want to hear it though. Yes, I know I'm a chain smoker. I hate myself for it. Like I said, I got stuff to work on. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. And even though I'm an ordained minister, that doesn't mean that I'm perfect. And I surely won't come to this pulpit and preach to you how perfect I am and how imperfect you are and how you're not good enough and God probably doesn't love you as much as me because I'm more holier than thou. But, yeah, my altars when I first, like 7 years ago, they would get online and they would be like, have your attention, please. This is your captain speaking. So it was Captain Holly. Then the yellow-bellied angel was your stewardess. Oh, no. Wait, you have Captain Happy Endings as your stewardess. Now that means, Captain Happy Endings means, you should be happy because I'll be landing this plane safely at a destination and we won't crash and burn. Then we had the yellow-bellied angel. We have we have Cage. Cage, you don't want to look in the eye. You just want to look down. But don't worry, she'll be kept in a cage. So you're partially safe. I had SS Holly. I give each one of them a name. Oh, and then we had autopilot. That was another altar for when the captain would get up and walk away. He'd put the airplane on autopilot. I would try to make jokes and incorporate every altar into the joke. I thought it was funny. A couple of times my friends laughed. And then some people, you know, non-survivor type people, they look at me like, what is wrong with you? There's a demon in you. I have to exorcise you, Holly. It's like, no, you don't. It's called coping. Me laughing and joking around about my altars is called coping skills. That's what I was trying to say in my video yesterday. You know, the preachers that are like, come out of her, come out of her now, demon, you get out of her. Those people, you know, that are trying to bind and cast down altars and not demons, and then they can't figure out why nothing's working. It's because they have no experience, knowledge, or anything for that matter, and they shouldn't be working with a survivor. Well, I would like to see, you know, those people, come out of her, demon, out of her now, come out, demon, now. I would like to see one of those people deal with just one of my super soldier memories. I would like those people to deal with one of my super soldier memories. Guaranteed, when they get done not only having the memory, vomiting, sweating bullets, crying, after a few months of dealing with that one memory, guaranteed they would have a whole new different approach and perception about victims as well as about themselves. They think, oh, she was just strapped to a chair getting mind controlled. Now she's out of the chair. She should be fine. She should just be fine. She should just think, you know, God's got it and be good with it. This is what I'm doing to reintegrate right here. This is what you do to reintegrate. You talk about it, and then you pray, and if it's in Abba's will, you'll reintegrate, and if it's not, then he'll help you have coping mechanisms to get through each day. I have a friend who's old, and I don't mean to be rude, but I got a friend who's old. They're confined to a wheelchair. Now, I grabbed another holy biblical prophet. I got my hands on one. I got my hands on a healer. And I brought her to my friend, and we prayed for curing and healing. Now, Abba did not cure and heal the woman to get up out of the wheelchair, but that doesn't mean he doesn't love her. It's just our bodies are old, and they decay and decline, and it's a part of life. I've been doing it for 7 years. I've been doing it online. I can give you guys suggestions and recommendations of how to help you guys reintegrate. There's a great book by Kathy O'Brien called PTSD, A Time to Heal. It's a small book. Get it, guys. Get it, because that's exactly what I've been doing. How did Russ Dizdar help? Well, we would talk. I'd tell him my memories. Then we'd pray, and that was that. It's really not that hard. People think there has to be a lot of dramatics and come out of her, demon! Demon now! Ekbalo! Demon, you get out of Holly now! Give me Holly! Yeah, it doesn't have to be theatrics like that. And that's not when I went through a freedom deliverance. Let me tell you, that was never there, okay? Russ Dizdar doesn't even act like that. He doesn't. I've seen him in action. He doesn't even do that. Come out of her, demon! Demon now! Out! You know those people. I got a few friends like that, and I love them. And they get me hyped up and praying with them, and I enjoy them. But when it's directed at me and my altars, those people need to rethink what they're doing, because it's actually very harmful to the person that they're doing it. No, DID is not demons. DID is dissociative identity disorder. It's altars. Altars are pieces of your personality. An altar is you stuck at the moment in time of your extreme trauma and torture. Now, I was programmed, so my altars are not haphazardly like that movie Sybil Shepherd. I'm not like that. I don't relate to that movie. Now, I have other friends that relate to that movie because they're like that. But me, personally, I'm an ex-super soldier. I related to the movie Manchurian Candidate, okay? I related to the movie Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, not Sybil Shepherd. I'm programmed. There's a difference. There was a method to Joseph Mangley's madness. If you go online, Fitz Springmeier and Cisco Wheeler have a book. It's called something to the effect of The Illuminati's Guide to Creating the Ultimate Mind Control Slave. It is free online. Read it. You'll be reading about me. When I read that book, I reached out to Fitz Springmeier and I said, "Sir, I think I'm one of the kids in a cage that you wrote about in this book." I was reading about myself in that book. So some of these street preachers, or whatever you call them, they haven't even read that book, but they think that they can help me. Get the hell out of here. A Nazi mastermind by the name of Joseph Mangley programmed me. My altars will see right through you if you are not in a relationship with Heavenly Abba to the extent that I'm in a relationship. I'll be able to tell if you're backslid or not. And a lot of these people sitting up on a pulpit preaching to you guys with thousands of viewers, some of them are backslid. But yet you go flocking to them every day, right? We need fellowship. We need fellowship. I'm not saying don't get fellowship, but when it comes to deprogramming and praying, you need to make sure you're with somebody who's scripturally sound and on white hot flames of fire, thirsting, chasing after Yeshua HaMashiach. Me, I don't want to be a follower. That is way too slow of a pace for me. I want more. I want more than to just follow Abba. But that's me. Hey, Mike, it's great to see you. Oh my gosh. I wish I could like be in your suitcase right now, flying all over. This is where we're going to get into it. Now I'm going to say something, library files, and everybody's going to disagree, but I'm going to tell you what I know for how I know it. Two things. The Bible says that we're supposed to live to 120 years old. Since Noah's flood, you and me are supposed to live to 120 years old. Nowadays, we're lucky. We say, oh, well, you know, my gram lived until she was 88. She lived a good, long life. That's almost 40 years shaved off grandma's life, for example. So we've been lied to, and our government, in fact, is killing us. Look, we're lucky to see 60, 70, possibly 80 years old. That's half our lifespan. Okay, now the answer to your question, library files. Joseph Mangley's not dead. He did not drown. I mean, what people have to realize is Joseph Mangley is a mastermind. Not like you and me. He's a mastermind. And to boot, this is what's left out of all the documentaries about Joseph Mangley. He's a sorcerer. He is a sorcerer. A Nazi mastermind sorcerer. And that's how. Okay, he never drowned. He's a Nazi mastermind. You're not going to drown a mastermind. They're going to find their way out of it. And that was a lie. He's still alive. He, I hear, resides in New York City and frequents England. And another super soldier I know has seen him alive and walking around. You too, good servant? How are you, good servant? I'll come watch you. I'll fellowship with you. I'll praise Yud Hey Vav Hey alongside of you. All praise, love, glory, and worship to Yud Hey Vav Hey for Yeshua HaMashiach. Please keep all of us in your truth. And I repent and I ask that you help me stay in your will. Excuse me. He's still alive. He didn't die. My next answer is that, well, we're supposed to live to be 120 years old as it is. And then my third answer is Hitler, Adolf Hitler, was in fact successful with backbreeding to the alien race, and they were in fact successful with life extension. So Joseph Mengele isn't dead. Adolf Hitler, I think, when did they sacrifice him? Because what they do when you're like Adolf Hitler, with that kind of darkness and power inside you, your death is more of a sacrifice, and they kill you. And as you're exhaling your last breaths of air, there will be somebody standing over you to inhale your air so they can get your power. You know, all of those satanic sacrifices Adolf Hitler did, it added up. And these people take that stuff seriously. So it sounds bizarre to you and me. Joseph Mengele's still alive. I had Stockholm Syndrome over him. In 2008, Joseph Mengele let me and another super soldier go. You have 8 to 10 people? That's a nice group. Good servant. That's really cool, good servant. I want a link. If you're on YouTube, sweet dreams, Mike. I pray Heavenly Abba sends down his warring angels to station them around you and keep you safe, minister to you, to help you fight back the darkness, and to rest well. Fly safely. In Yeshua's name, sweet dreams. Are using adrenochrome to extend their lives. Library files. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the adrenochrome extending their lives. You're probably spot on about that. I didn't even, that's a good point, library files. My next question is, Heavenly Abba, did they ever give me and the other kids I was trafficked with adrenochrome in the dumbs in the cages? I don't want the answer. Take it back. That was the blood they made us eat. That's right. On second thought, library files, you're right. You're totally right. I did know. It took me a minute. That's it. They call adrenochrome the fountain of youth. The fountain of youth is adrenochrome. You're right, library files. I did know after all. You're right. Hey, it's Paul. Oh my gosh. It's great to see you, Paul. It's great to see you. They couldn't kill Jason Bourne. When Max Spears died, I kid you not, the first thing out of my mouth is, you cannot kill a super soldier. You can't kill a super soldier. But you're right, library files, you're right. Adrenochrome, the fountain of youth, extends their life. I think they gave it to us kids. I know one girl gave me her testimony. We were trafficked together. She lives in another country. She did some work with me. She was like, Holly, I liked her. I liked her because she would let me point blank ask her questions. See, library files, I had a luxury that a lot of people in my situation do not have. When I woke up, I was able to find, locate, and reunite with some of the kids that I was trafficked with since the time I was born. And a lot of people that have been trafficked don't get that opportunity. So they don't have another person to go, hey, do you remember this? Or did that happen to us? Or do you know where we were? Well, the one girl said, get the cigarettes out. The one girl said, Holly, do you remember when they had us in the pit and they made us drink urine and feces. Don't you remember how they cut us up and they would rub it? They'd make us rub all that crap inside the cuts. She's like, don't you remember that, Holly? They would yell things like, you like it, you dirty, filthy little whore, don't you? You like it. Oh, I don't think about it. I'm going to start vomiting. So she spent a couple of months giving me her testimony and talking me through it. I remember bits and pieces. I don't want to really think of stuff because I vomit. It's like when they raped us kids, I vomit. I run to boxes of wine. When my altar told me they had me in child porn movies, I was back November 2016. I found myself a bottle of Bacardi and I worked the issue out. And for plastic Christians, you can go pound salt because dealing with stuff like that is not for the weak. And it's not easy. And if you think you're going to be wallowing around in joy and every day's going to be Christmas and you're just going to focus on Yud-Hey Vav-Hey's joy and you're just going to focus on joy and more joy. It's not like that. You've seen me, the videos where I cry, can't stand it. That's how it is to deprogram. It's not pretty. Hey, good morning, Brian. It's great to see you. I hope so, Paul. I want to be out. And I'm bringing everybody with me. And if I can't get out and I'm going down, I'm going to take as many of those rotten, foul, nasty, filthy mutts with me as possible. Just like Samson. Grow my hair back. Sava ate it twice. It's almost grown back. In another year, possibly 2 years, my hair is going to be grown back. Fully. You know that story, right? Yeah. Library files. I remember them giving me the black goo. Anunnaki DNA. I fought, and I didn't die. I fought. They gave us everything in the dumps. Sorry, I have a bunch of thoughts running through my head right now, and trying to grab onto them. I don't want to talk about Casbolt. He's popping in my head right now. I don't want to talk about him and his testimony. But yeah, we were forced to be a part of the satanic sacrifices and rituals. So if we were forced to be a part of them, you know they had us drinking the blood. So that's kind of like how I deprogram. The other way too is to get my altars to read the Bible. I connected with Moses. Project Untrigger started in 2021, and that's when I was successful at being able to read the Holy Bible while highly triggered and electronically targeted. My altars started to ask me to read them the Bible. Did you ever hear of a character named Thoth Moses? Okay. Thoth Moses is Moses, who was adopted by the fallen angel Thoth's bloodline. Moses was raised on Egyptian principles. I come from Project Ibis. I was raised on Egyptian principles. That's Hitler backbreeding to the alien race, concocting a bunch of stuff in a test tube, and then creating the person. Project Ibis, you find dinosaur bones, right? Well, there's still viable tissue inside the bones. They take that tissue and regenerate it, recreate it, however you say. And then, so they take whatever viable genetics and DNA they find in these bones, mummy bones. So you find dinosaurs, but they also found mummies, right? The elongated skulls. Well, when they find these elongated skulls, there's still viable tissue. So they take that tissue, they mix it up, and voila, they create a human. So I have the same genetics as one of the Illuminati families, the Rothschilds. I have the same genetics as the Thoth bloodline. I have the same genetics as my biological mother and father. All the kids I was with, trafficked with in that project, they were created the same way. We were created in a dump. Yeah, the Nephilim. They get the Nephilim bones, the mummy bones, and then they recreate it. They found Nimrod, right? They also found Osiris's head back a few years ago. Well, when they found Osiris's head, what was it, in 2018, about, they flew it over to the north area of CERN. Haha, great, right? Recreate that thing. And Osiris, that's isn't that the Egyptian god for resurrection? And they're trying to resurrect something from hell onto this earth. I'm not saying it right. Oh yeah, Hitler. When they took him out, that was only a couple of years ago. I think it was in 2016, 2017, when they finally took Hitler out and sacrificed him. Probably the same thing that happened with Betty White. Yes, thank you, Library Files. That is why we invaded Iraq. It wasn't about oil. The mass weapon of destruction was Saddam Hussein building a ziggurat to a Stargate. Actually, I think it was because of Nimrod's body itself. That was the weapon of mass destruction. It had nothing to do with oil. It had nothing to do with Saddam Hussein killing his people. It had everything to do with Nephilim. Try to tell that to the average American. Oh, you hear that, Holly? She's crazy. She's dizzy in the eyes. No, I'm highly educated. You're stuck in the world. You're indoctrinated. Hit in Iraq was the museums. Yes. Remember, they were taking everything down, destroying the statues. So, getting back to the Bible, to deprogram Library Files, it's important for me to find a character, a person in the Bible, and relate to them. Moses. He was used mightily. Moses even time traveled from the Old Testament to the New Testament, where he met Yeshua HaMashiach, two of Yeshua's apostles. Elijah was also time traveled, but his cloak was torn. The other part of his cloak is back in the Old Testament with his servant Elisha, because Elisha saw God come get Elijah and grabbed onto Elijah's coat. And then Elisha was given a double portion because Elisha saw when Abba's chariots came and got Elijah. So this Moses, he helped me to break the programming of Ibis. So when they try to trigger that, I know a way out. I just go grab my Bible and start reading about Moses. I was in Montauk. I was in time travel projects. I remember time traveling in the dumps. And waking up from time traveling is one of the hardest and most confusing things that I have ever gone through in my entire life. Extremely scary. That's another story. But that was very scary for me to come to terms with. I'll tell you real quick. In the Dumbs, when I time traveled, I was brought to a time in my future where I would walk into a pizza place late at night and order a pizza, and I'd sit at the table and wait for the pizza to get ready. And at this pizza restaurant, a blonde-haired man would walk in. When I time traveled, the blonde-haired man walked in the restaurant. We started flirting and talking. He joined me to eat. Then he said, well, I live right across the street. Why don't you come back across the street to the house with me? And I went with him. And as we sat there, He poured a glass of wine and we were talking. And then all of a sudden he whips out a knife and just starts stabbing me and stabbing me. And as I laid on the floor bleeding to death, he said, nobody's going to find you. Nobody will find you until the spring. And he closed the door and locked me in. It wasn't a house, it was like an outside shed, but inside it was decorated like a house. You know, like one of those glorified tree houses on those shows on cable TV that they have. It was like a shed, but on the inside it was really nice. So that was a time travel event. And yeah, my body was not found into the spring of 2015. That was a time traveling event. Well, in real life, all of a sudden, December 2014 showed up, and this is real life now. And the roommate who was renting me an expensive couch because I was homeless, his rent was $800, but he was charging me $600 to sleep on his couch. He ordered Chinese food one day. Well, I got lost, couldn't find the Chinese place, so instead I stopped at the pizza joint. Get out of the car, walk in, order my pizza, and then all of a sudden the memories of the time traveling event come in. And I'm standing at the counter, and all of a sudden I'm recognizing the place, recognizing it. And I was like, oh no. I ordered my pizza, and as I'm standing there ordering it, I hear the door behind me open up. And as soon as I heard the bell of the door jingling as it opened, I looked at the person. I said, do you have a bathroom? She said, yeah, it's right there. I said, thank you so much. And I kid you not, I went like this. I never turned around to see who was behind me. Went in the bathroom, closed the door, locked it. All of a sudden, I hear a man up at the counter start talking. I sat in that bathroom for 10 minutes. I flushed the toilet a bunch of times to make it sound like I was doing something. Really, I was hiding in the bathroom. Then I hear the guy leave, the door jingle, the bells over the door jingle. He leaves. I got to get my cat medicine. He leaves, so I come out of the bathroom. I get my pizza, I pay for it, I walk outside to my car, and there's two big, you know those big blazer-looking things that you would see somebody drive in a convoy, or like maybe an undercover cop car, but it's a big truck blazer-looking thing? Well, there were two of them in the parking lot, and two guys standing there talking in the parking lot. I grabbed my pizza and I walked out to my car as fast as I could. I got in my car, locked the doors, and as I'm sitting there, the pizza place it was Christmas time, so they had a heart on their window, the lights, and it had a heart on the window. Across the street was a huge yard with a very big house and a couple of sheds. Well, across the street on the one shed, in one of the windows, there was a round dot. It was lights, like Christmas lights, but it was just this one round dot in the window of a shed. And as I'm sitting there looking at the pizza place with the heart, I look over at the shed and there's that red dot in the window. It was Christmas lights, but that were shining and blinking, but it was a dot. I remember sitting in the parking lot going, heart beat, heart beat. I'm getting out of here and keeping my heart beating. I don't want to be murdered. And I got out of there as fast as I could. So it wasn't only just the project and the DUMBs where I time traveled, but then in this normal life, I had to get to that point in time and then live through it. December 2014 is the pivotal month that I woke up. And if somebody was going to silence me, that would have been the time to do it. That would have been the time to do it. I gotta get my cat medicine. Oh, Sava's going potty. I can hear her go potty. All right. Okay, guys. I can leave this running and you can sit here, but this might take me 15 minutes and I kind of want to go be with Sava. And this is getting to be a good conversation too. It's getting to be a good conversation. I'm all shaky. I hate that. Come on. I'm not of that thought. I'm of Yud-He Vav-He in Yeshua's name. Perfect. Heavenly Abba, I come before you. I ask that you give Sava her medicine for me. What do I know about CERN? CERN is going to open up the gates of hell. CERN's going to open up the abyss. Man's going to open up the abyss. That's about all I know. Let me go get my pretty kitty, okay? She's past due for her medicine. I give it to her between 6 and 7, and I think that it's worn off. So I'm going to go and administer medicine to her. I would like to know what's going on with CERN right now. Okay, what CERN is to me. There's, from my understanding, before I go, there's 48 stargates worldwide, and there's 3 seagates worldwide. The difference between seagates and stargates is a seagate is a stargate, but it sits on the bottom of the ocean floor. Where stargates are on land, seagates are on the bottom of the ocean floor. I come from Project Seagate. Have you ever heard of Project Seagate? There's a great man out there by the name of Aaron McCullum who talks about Project Seagate. His videos are buried. If you can find them, listen. He talks a lot about the Gulf of Aden. I believe that man is telling the truth. And I would actually like to meet that man to say thank you, Sir Aaron. No, don't go. All right, so these stargates and these seagates, none of them are in our control. Humans do not control them. These seagates and these stargates open and work all by themselves, and we have no control over them. CERN is our stargate. We'll call it a ground gate because they put it in the ground, okay? It's not on land. It's not on the ocean's floor. It's in the ground. So we'll call it a ground gate. In my humble opinion, that is man's attempt at creating man's own stargate or seagate or ground gate or whatever. That's man creating a gate. And we, man, think we have control over CERN. But once we open it, man is going to realize we never had control of it to begin with. But yes, CERN is man's own built stargate that man thinks it's going to control, and that we'll have control over it, meaning we'll be able to open it, close it, and do whatever we want with it. So CERN is man's made attempt at having a stargate. In my humble opinion, but please remember, like when I give you my testimony, I'm telling you from my own knowledge, my own research and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And there's still some things that I'm wrong about. You guys will hear me correct myself when I get something from the Bible wrong. Like the 144,000 seals, I had it wrong. Abba was trying to show me something, but it took me 7 years to figure out what he was trying to show me. He's great. I'm just slow on the uptake. There's another part of the Bible where there's tribulation survivors. It's not only just the 144,000 seals. There's another group of people that survive the tribulation. That's what Abba was trying to get me to study, to get me to learn. But he was using the story of the 144,000 seals to try to get through to me, to say, Holly, look at this other group of survivors. And it says it in the Bible, those who survive the tribulation that will be alive in that day. It's not only the 144,000, there's another group of people. Abba was, I believe, signaling to me to look into who those other survivors are next to the 144,000 seals. So the 144,000 seals are over in Israel. But there's still Abraham's descendants are worldwide, spread across the world. Abba's not going to forget about us just because we're on the outside of Israel. The 144,000 are in the inside of Israel, but there's survivors outside of Israel that will survive the tribulation. I think Heavenly Abba may have been pointing me in that direction to look into the survivors. But he was trying to hook me and grab my attention by saying, hey, Holly, look at this one story. But keep reading. You're a survivor, Holly. You're a survivor, Holly. And this bracelet, I know it's nothing to you guys, but this bracelet kept sticking out to me. Remember when I cleaned out my house in December? Threw out all my jewelry with crystals, gemstones, and all that garbage on it, stars and symbols? Well, I kept this because I'm an MK Ultra survivor. But Abba kept like signaling to me this bracelet of survivor. And not too long ago, I think only a week or two ago, I started reading in the Bible about survivors of tribulation. I have always had this feeling ever since I was a little girl, 4, 5, 6 years old, that I would see Jesus Christ of Nazareth return to earth and set his physical foot down on this ground. And I want to serve him. And if it means that I got to walk through hell for 7 years, then I'm going to put some sway in my steps and strut. Strut my full armor that he gave me. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Thank you. I love you. I don't want to make plans or say I'll do something, because then when I get off here, I get distracted and then I don't do it. And it makes me sound like a hypocrite, and it makes me sound like I'm blowing you guys off. So let me just say I'll be back. I will have you in my heart, and I will be praying for you. And I'm really grateful to you guys. And shalom, everyone. And that's a wrap for I Want My HTV. And I was your hostess with the mostest, Holly Baglio. But I'm signing off. I'll be signing back in at some point today. It was good talking to all of you. Stay happy. All right, I will. Let me get her medicine in her. Look at that cute little doggy. They are happy. She's always putting her belly up. All right, guys, I love you. I'll smile. And know that when I'm smiling, it's because of you. I love you guys. It's great to see you, Lynn, everyone, Paul, Library Files, Brian, all of you guys. It was great. See you later.